Yeah, so, if it's alright with you guys, I'm gonna keep Chompy real fucking close for today's video because, um, yeah, this new Worm album, it's pretty fucking gnarly. Pretty fucking gruesome. Yeah. Oh, and yeah, it's because he's scared, not me. I'm a big boy, unlike Chompy. I'm a big boy who isn't scared of nasty Floridian death doom. That literally sounds like it was birthed by a fucking mutant swamp creature from hell. Definitely not scared. Definitely not even an itty bitty bit. Yeah, okay. Alright, here we go. I'm gonna keep you right here, Chompy. That way no one can hurt us. I mean you, specifically you, because again, I'm a big boy who isn't scared. While we talk about this brand new studio album from Worm, an American death doom band that's been kicking around for a couple of years now. I think I even remember talking about their previous studio album in an Albums I Missed video. They play a very murky and mysterious and swampy fusion of like classic black metal and old school death metal with doom metal riffs and sludge. It's gross and provocative and ugly and filthy and genuinely pretty horrifying. And not only is Foreverglade not an exception to this rule, it stands as being quite possibly their most brutal and cohesive and ambitious record to date. With some of their tightest and slimiest performances to date, some of their most unpredictable and cathartic songwriting to date, and yeah, weirdly their best production to date. I mean, the whole thing is still pretty raw. It's got that classic underground death metal stench to it, but it's quite articulate at times too. Everything is transparent enough. Everything is polished enough. Keyboards and synthesizers have a nice glossy feel to them without taking away from the murky and boggy atmosphere of the record, and the guitars are quite thick and dense. And it makes for a genuinely pretty powerful display. The album towers over you like some kind of ancient reptilian creature living in the bogs and the swamps of Florida. It's like if Killer Croc got rabies and was also super fucking depressed and lived in a fucking trailer in Orlando. Does that make sense? I don't think it does now that I say it out loud. Whatever, we're rolling with it. The album's opening cut and title track, Foreverglade, starts things off on a particularly oppressive and mysterious and horrifying note as cold, chilling keyboards consume all light within like a 15-mile radius. Contrasted by some very slow, pummeling, mid-pace death doom with a lot of classic 1980s death metal flair. It's very blunt, very gross, and genuinely kind of creepy. You can't help but get images of like disgusting little swamp creatures crawling not on top of your skin but underneath it, like little parasitic worms. And unfortunately, the unforgiving heat and light of a Miami sun cannot cut through the darkness on following track Murk Above the Dark Moor. In fact, if anything, it adds to the swelling humidity and pressure. Because this thing is dense and ugly as fuck. It sounds as if it's literally being vomited out of something. Demonic, nasally, phlegmy screams and screeches contrasted with some genuinely very brooding organ pieces and some slow, monotonous classic doom metal riffery, topped off at the very end with a guitar solo that reeks of like classic Floridian death metal spice and flavor in the vein of like Obituary or Morbid Angel. Mwah! It's disgusting and I love it. And from here on, ladies and gentlemen, I think you get the drill. The basic blueprint of the album has been laid out in surprisingly thorough detail, and Worm do not deviate too frequently from it, aside from some tempo changes and some additional, if perhaps very subtle, influences from across the other corners of the extreme metal spectrum. Take, for instance, on the devastatingly ghoulish and dark Empire of the Necromancers, which at times borders on the chaotic kind of unpredictable black and death metal I would expect of some other $20 spin bands like Ulthar or even Woad, or Cloaked in Night Winds, which has some very depressing, almost gothic kind of soundscapes that bring to mind like some second wave black metal as well as some more classic doom metal. Which isn't to say that the record ever becomes predictable, mind you, because I don't think it does. The closing number, Centuries of Ooze, for instance, is kind of brilliant in how it blends classic black metal spices and flavors with the more elongated and atmospheric passages I would expect of Funeral Doom. I'm more so trying to make it clear that by a certain point in this album's runtime, the mood, the atmosphere, the environment, the momentum has been pretty clearly and thoroughly established, and therefore, if you aren't digging the album at a certain point, you're probably not gonna dig it later on. So, you know, for lack of a better term, I would suggest you don't waste your time trying to really get into this, because you won't. And that's fine, don't get me wrong. I did not at all expect this to be as accessible as something like Carcass or Cannibal Corpse or the Mayhem EP from earlier this year. Worm are playing with some pretty weird and chaotic and extreme music, and it's not for the faint of heart. Like our boy Chompy here, you know? He's a pretty simple guy. He just likes to party. He's not really down with all this super chaotic and weird and sludgy and scary shit. Unlike me, I'm a big boy. I didn't piss my pants even once. But for those of you who truly do love dank, disturbing, and disgusting underground death doom, oh my god, this is the record you've been waiting for all your fucking life. I'm honestly going with a 4.5 out of 5. From start to finish, this is a stellar record, dripping with atmosphere and drama and some of the most hellish and brutal material I've heard all year. With that in mind, I honestly feel comfortable saying that this would probably end up on my top 10 of 2021. It's just such an exciting and immersive and truly gruesome record. I look forward to jamming this on vinyl and holding Chompy very close while I do so. I look forward to seeing how Worm continues to expand on their very unique brand of death doom in the future, what other influences are brought into the fray, what changes they make to the production, to the songwriting, if any, for that matter. This is a band I'm definitely going to have to keep a much closer eye on in the future. That much is fucking certain. So again, 4.5 out of 5. Holy shit. What an incredible fucking display. Like, damn, it's something. Fucking hell. And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I'm not an expert, nor do I claim to be, so what do you think? Do you like this record? Do you not like this record? And what do you want to hear from me next? And thank you for watching. Make sure you press subscribe right here so you get updates on the Metal Meltdown fucking immediately. And as always, you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.